Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, and Zazie Beetz. I was waiting for this movie. I felt like the movie wasn't going to be as good as advertised, specifically because they were giving the Joker a backstory. He doesn't have a backstory. He's just a dude that wandered out of an alley and started killing people. And it seems like that's a backstory, but that ain't it either. He's got lots of backstories, and he also has no backstories. That's part of the thing that makes him one of the coolest, dangerous, and scary of all the villains in all of pop culture anywhere. This movie starts with a slow burn. It takes a while for it to really start moving, but it does start moving. It's the origin story, right, of the Joker. But don't say, oh man, it's the origin story of Spider-Man, origin story of the Fantastic Four, origin story of Batman. Everybody's doing an origin story. No, it is an origin story, but it's not what you're going to be expecting. It's the slow progression of a man. In the comics they say, the Joker says Batman's one bad day away from being him. So one bad day from being evil. But what happens when you have a ton of bad days, a lifetime of bad experiences? Then, you might become the Joker. And that's what it is. It's showing this guy's progression. Now, don't get me wrong. When the movie starts, he's a nut and has been for a long time. But he's not the Joker. He ain't that crazy. But he's headed there, and the different things, you can see it, and you're watching it, and you're like, he's gonna go crazy. You can see it happening, and it's a good. It's a great take on a known character. It's another look. Joaquin Phoenix was incredible in this movie. I watched the movie and I was saying to myself, man, this is over 2 hours. I'm not going to want to watch. I'm going to watch it, but I'm not going to be comfortable. I'm going to be moving around in my seat and everything. My head's going to be wandering. But nah, you're fixed on the screen the whole time because he's doing things in the movie, and you see him progressing from being a dude to full-on Joker. He's full-on Joker by the end of the movie, or roughly the end of the movie, but he's just a dude. It was good. It was incredible. I think Joaquin Phoenix was really good, especially standing next to Robert De Niro. How good do you have to be on screen with Robert De Niro and people still look at you and be like, man, dog, hey, you got it. He got it. The Joker, the portrayal of the Joker wasn't like Cesar Romero, Batman Joker. This was like, and it wasn't like Joaquin or Heath Ledger Joker or Jack Nicholson Joker. It was different. But I think this one was probably the scariest Joker because he did things and you could see in his eyes, that he was like, click, and his mind was just gone. And he would do things and you'd be like, oh, that's so terrible. It was, man, I enjoyed this movie. There's parts like with in the Marvel universe, they've learned that if you care for the villain, if you understand what he went through to make him the villain, then you'll feel more for him. Like with Killmonger, you understood from a kid what made him who he was, and you felt bad for him because he was on a journey. He was insane too, and he was evil, but you saw what turned him and you wanted to reach into the screen and just change certain things to make it so he wasn't, evil. it looked like it was within your grasp to help him. That's what it seems like with the Joker. They mastered that. You want to just reach into the screen and give him a hug, or give him a nice day, buy him a sandwich, just be nice to him. Just everybody was just evil to him until he just click and went nuts. And you're thinking, you're watching the movie. I was watching the movie and I was saying to myself, man, if I could just help this dude, maybe he won't be the Joker. But he was so, in the back of his mind, you could tell that he was so evil. It's like a wild hyena, that hurt its paw. You kind of want to pet it, but it's a hyena. Don't go over there. You're going to get eaten. So that's how it was. You saw him, you felt for him, but you could tell from his eyes and his mannerisms, things he said, that this dude was a nut. It gives nods to certain other movies, and it gives nods to certain things in the DC universe. One of the big things is it gives a nod to the cartoon, The Dark Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, Part 2. There's a scene in there when he's on stage and he does things on stage. This movie leans heavily on that, and I was like, wow, that was great. If you're a comic book guy, if you're not a comic book guy, you're gonna go in, you're gonna watch this movie, you're gonna dig it. It's a great movie. If you are a comic book guy and you know a lot of these sub stories and subplots, you're gonna be in there, trying not to scream and pointing at the screen because something just happened and you're like, oh my God, look what just happened. But even if you're not a comic book guy, watching this movie, it wasn't really like a comic book movie. It was like just a horror thriller almost. It was like it was no monster, but Norman Bates or one of those slasher killer guys. It was something like that. You saw him. It just the progression was what got me when he went from, because it was just little things. It was like a kid and he's saying, oh, I want to join Starfleet, and you're like, and they're like, what's your name? And he's like, Kirk, and you're like, oh, and then he's like, hey, who's your best friend? And he's like, Spock, and you're like, it's building. I know where this is going. One day I want to fly the Starship Enterprise, and you're like, that's it, that's Captain Kirk, Star Trek, I got it. That's what happens with the Joker. It's a little piece, and you're like, hey, and then something else happens, and you're like, whoa, and then something else happens. Like there's one scene, I'm just going to give this one thing away, watch for it, see if you catch it. There's one scene where he's on the elevator, and he's teetering on becoming completely crazy. His hair's green, and it wasn't green when he got on the elevator, but it's green, like a light green. And when he gets off the elevator, it's brown again. And I was like, his hair was green, right? And I go to movies by myself, so I couldn't talk to nobody, but I saw it, and I was like, oh, his hair was green. That's a hint. And he's falling apart. But a very, very small part was Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is in this movie, but just the shadow of him, really. You're in your back of your mind, you're like, he's going to be Batman one day. I don't think he can handle this Joker. Because if you think about it, the Batman is supposed to be terrifying. And even so that some of the heroes are scared of Batman. But Batman considers the Joker terrifying. So if a werewolf is scared of another monster, how terrible is the other monster? They made Joker that other monster. He's more terrifying than what you would expect Batman to be. Because he was just terrifying. It was pretty good. The transformation was incredible. And if this world had a real life Joker, it's just blow him up or something. Don't put him in a jail or nothing. He's gonna escape. You gotta shoot that dude in the head, and bury him in concrete, throw that in the ocean, in the belly of a whale, and blow the whale up. That you don't want none of that. I don't want none of that. That was a good movie. That movie, in fact, was so good. I got a new respect for Joaquin Phoenix. But that movie was so good that I'm going to give it 9 bags of popcorn. Man, 9 bags of popcorn. Because that's how that movie gets down. Have you seen it? What's your favorite Joker? Is it Joaquin Phoenix? Is it Cesar Romero? Is it Jack Nicholson? Is it Heath Ledger or other? Let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like. Do you like the new intro? Let's talk about that too.